break. This is Alex.
And I'm Suzanne.
Today we are covering lots of topics. So,
no, just one.
well, we're going to throw a couple other in there.
I guess it'll be relative.
Yes. So, what we're talking about today is a very serious issue that affects most people, at least the people who have constitutional rights. So,
and anybody that's ever interested in exercising them.
Exactly. Who would want to do that? So,
only whiny people.
Apparently, I keep hearing this.
Lazy liberals.
Lazy ass liberals who work 40 hours a week, who are fucking lazy, ignorant people. So let's look at this. So we have protest shaming. I'm pretty sure that's a serious issue in everybody's neighborhood. I know there's the angry, leaning right people who tend to want to hurt the people who choose to execute their constitutional rights.
It's an interesting choice of words.
So, you look at people who use their Second Amendment right and they open carry a firearm. Is there anybody who harasses those people and, you know, tries to attack those people? No, they're armed, obviously. But everybody in America who sees an armed person agrees that they have a constitutional right, if that state allows, to open or concealed carry a weapon. But that is okay to demonstrate your Second Amendment rights, especially if you are protesting and going to a pro-Second Amendment right rally where you demonstrate your Second Amendment. Well, our First Amendment right is just as important. It allows us to believe in whatever religion we want.
Well, first say what is the First? Yeah, say what is the First Amendment? What is it?
The First Amendment was added to the Constitution right after it was made and it was drawn. So, our First Amendment gives us the right to free speech, and
which is basically the cornerstone.
It allows us to speak out about our government.
It is the cornerstone of who we are.
Exactly. It allows us to have
really
free
think about
press. Yes, absolutely.
It allows us to do what we're doing right now.
Just as, and more importantly, more important than the Second Amendment.
You know, call it being a crybaby. Call it what you want. I'm exercising my First Amendment rights.
And you
whoever you are out there in anonymous land.
You know, they're calling these violent protesters,
Guilty.
They're calling them terrorists. So let me ask you a question. If you take away my First Amendment right by attacking me because you do not agree with my opinion, makes you, by the same logic, a terrorist. So, what you need to not do is attack people for demonstrating their First Amendment right, which is inalienable, by the way.
So, now that we have our First Amendment right lesson, thank you, by the way.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I go into my segment?
Yes.
So, basically I wanted to, basically ask us some simple questions about protest shaming. You know, is it right? You know, protest shaming in America. What is it? You know, it's basically going up to someone and persecuting them for exercising their right to say no, or their right to say yes. And, you know, that's kind of what we are. Like, we're a country based on liberty. And liber, I believe, is Latin for the word free.
Yes.
And, I mean, that's who we are. And it's crazy that we seem to have lost that and we've turned mob. And yes, as a protester, I'm saying that the right-wingers have turned mob. They've turned political mob.
Mob mentality.
And, you know, is it right? I don't think it's right, personally. If you disagree, I think that'd be interesting to hear your justification on protest shaming, because out of 17 states that have protests going on, only one has had any significant violence, as far as I know.
Surprisingly.
And which I commend my fellow countrymen. That's awesome. And I think that's great. I mean, that's the way to do it. That's the way to be heard, is to be silent in a way, I guess. To stand, though sometimes silently, but candles or signs or just forming a peaceful blockade.
Or
Though an
voices.
inconvenience, it is significant. So are protesters in error? No. If you vandalize, if you hurt someone, if you shoot someone and drive away, like in Portland, Oregon, I wonder who he voted for. I don't think protesters are wrong. I think protesters who are doing it peacefully are doing it the right way. I think they're doing it the American way, the patriot way.
Yes.
I think those are.
Law-abiding way.
How is that un-American? How is that un-American by exercising something that is given to you, that is provided to you because you pay taxes, because you go to work, because
You're in a union.
you follow a law. You're a law-abiding citizen. Doesn't that earn you something? That's entitlement.
Whenever the unions, they cut pay or they lay off or they make the workers upset, unsafe working conditions. You know what? The workers, they strike. You know what strike is? It's a form of protest.
It is.
And
But those people get crapped on too, man.
yeah,
They do. Ugh. Scabs. But, okay, so I don't think that protesters are in error. I know that there are people that disagree with me, and I accept that. That's why we live in such an amazing country, or so I thought. Because, we can pass people on the street in a community and accept that they might think differently. They might believe in a different God. They might believe in a different form of marriage. They might love a goat instead of another man. I don't know. But like in this country, we at least gave people the benefit of the doubt. And now we're just spitting on people for exercising their First Amendment rights. I can't believe that. And I'm asking myself, why would people react this way? What would fuel people to persecute their fellow man, like their fellow taxpayer, consumer, neighbor? Like, why would they do that? Why would they punish their own sons and daughters? I've heard of plenty of families where like parents are writing their children off for not voting for Trump. I'm a victim of such a movement, actually. Like I haven't heard from my mother in months, and yeah, like I'm pretty sure my dad and I are done. Like, and you didn't even get a call on your birthday.
yeah. Slightly because of my political views, which seem to be radical.
Oh, but we better stop because we're being crybabies.
Oh,
So, is this accumulation of Republican, is this a culmination, of Republican hate against liberals? Yes. I think it's actually becoming something that might, be a certifiable hate crime. I think Republicans, it's a word, I think it's a label for a group of people who hate anyone that isn't like them. And maybe there's a couple of well-meaning traditionalists left there, and for some reason they won't speak out against this hatred. I know there's some good Republicans in there. I know they're in there. It'd be statistically improbable that there aren't any good Republicans in the Republican Party. And for some reason they're being quiet.
yeah. Not saying anything, just going along with the sheep herd,
Maybe they're afraid. That could be a possibility.
I'd be afraid
I'm afraid.
too.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm all right. So that's all I wanted to say. That's what I have to say about it.
And going into the protest shaming, a man in Ohio State University was giving a speech, an anti-Trump speech. Peaceful protest gathered in the student union building, and as he was speaking to a crowd who was applauding him, a man had came up behind him and tackled him onto the ground.
Oh my God!
From about a 10-step flight of stairs. Immediately, the crowd had subdued the man. Without punching or kicking, they simply held him down and held his arms behind his back until police intervened and took him and charged him with assault. So,
wow.
This is another form, protest shaming. Okay, look at that guy. That guy took away his First Amendment right. And one of the reasons he deserves to be in jail was because he kept this guy from demonstrating. And that's not the right thing to do.
No.
And
Why? Like, why do you have a right to step all over someone's invocation of their rights? Like, that's personal. They want to say it's not personal. They want to, like this guy. You told me about some guy that was taking video of protesters and boo-hooing and like screwing
in
his
Olympia. This
business
happened
as,
in
like,
Olympia.
a baby.
the same protest that we covered in the roundabout, the first Olympia protest video. There's a guy filming whenever they were marching through on 4th and coming up the bridge.
It's
and
an
he was
amazing thing to see, by the way.
Yeah, he was acting like a child. It reminded me of what a 13-year-old would do,
Petulant.
honestly. And this is the mentality of some Trump supporters, not all, some who have the mentality of an 8-year-old and the
mocking.
education of a 9th grader. You know, this is what's happening in this country, and people are just cutting education, and these people are coming out and insulting protesters and then claiming, oh, I love the Constitution, until I take this person's right away from protesting. You can't say you love the Constitution and then shame somebody for using their First Amendment right that the Constitution grants them to have. Don't ever call yourself a patriot if you take away somebody's rights.
That's un-American.
That's treasonous.
That's
to take away
un-American.
somebody's rights.
Protest
Physically take away
shaming?
someone's rights.
That's un-American. Protest shaming. You sit there and call people un-American for exercising their First Amendment rights. Those are people who believe in the Constitution. Those are people that are invoking it. Those are people that have actually read it and understand what it means. So that's why they're doing what they're doing, because they know what's within their rights. And what you're doing is petulant. That's
Childish.
terrorism. Like, you're terrorizing people for
Literal.
being, for exercising their constitutional rights. That's un-American. That's un-American.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
not having long hair. It's not about having tattoos. It's not about living off the government. It's about your interpretation of your rights. And I interpret mine to be that I have every right to peacefully march and protest of a sham of an election.
Yes.
Of a stolen presidency.
Obviously stolen.
Stolen. If it wasn't the Kremlin, it was some billionaire.
CEOs that have lined Trump's cabinet.
And all of a sudden, all these people are getting paid off. Border Patrol contracts. Jobs. Money. And nobody's going to put the brakes on this.
No. And this is why we got to stand up and demonstrate our First Amendment rights.
This is why we have to keep on doing it. People want us to bow down. They want us to accept it. And we need to keep peacefully protesting. We don't need to fight.
Do not violently
But we need to
act.
stand up. We need to stand
Do
up.
not lash out.
And we need
resist.
to stand firm.
Simply resist. Join the resistance. Subscribe. You guys.
The resistance, not the rebellion.
The resistance. And like and subscribe, guys. Leave comments. Tell us how we did. We like feedback. We like all feedback. We're good with constructive criticism. So.
And please enjoy the new feature in our first film with our brand new piece of equipment procured by Alex.
Awesome.
Hope it's a better view.